question is, are there any Scrum courses that teach you how to scale? And the answer is no, there's not. There's not any Scrum courses that teach you how to scale, but there are Scrum courses that help you understand the tools and techniques that you can use to build your own scaling framework. That's probably the best way to describe it. Every successful organization that I've seen operating at scale, I've worked with organizations with 600 people working on one product. I've worked with organizations that have 4,500 people working on one product. These are all scaling situations. Those are mega scaling situations. For most organizations, you're probably looking at just 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 Scrum teams working together, delivering value, but they have to deliver it together. I'm working on an engagement right now where we've got about 13 teams working together on one common outcome. And how do you scale that? And the answer is that there is no prescribed way to scale. You have to find a way that works for your organization. So the course that we have, Scaled Professional Scrum, Scaling Professional Scrum, is from scrum.org, and it focuses on a little bit around a framework, right? But that's a tiny part of this course, right? The Nexus framework, what that we talk about, is not really much more than Scrum, and it talks about 3 to 9 teams-ish working together on one outcome. But what it does heavily focus on, the course focuses on about 50 different practices that you can use to help you build your own scaling framework. Just like Scrum is not a method for delivering software, Scrum is a framework around which you can build your own method for delivering software. In the same way, Nexus is not a method for delivering software. It's a framework, a scaffolding, so that we make sure that we're not missing something as we continue to build and iterate on our own framework. What practices are going to work for you in building your scaling framework for your teams in your organization? And please do not start with everything in the kitchen sink. That's a bad place to start. You want to start small. What's the smallest thing we can improve and change? And then what's the next thing after that? What's the next thing after that to make things a little bit better? And you'll build a framework that's suited specifically for the product, specifically for the organization that you're in, that entity of your organization. So that's a lot of work, right? The scaling class that we have is not going to teach you how to install a scaling framework in your organization. It's going to teach you the foundations of you being able to build your own scaling framework that fits your organization like a glove. I think that is the best way to enable scaling. There's a little bit of a kickstart. There's some things that's definitely very common. If you're interested, the 2 things that you really need to focus on is dependency management. That's the killer for most organizations. So we spend a ton of time talking about and dealing with dependency management. And the other one is alignment. Alignment between your product, the organization, and the people. Right? You need alignment there, that things smoothly flow through that system. If the architecture is different from the way you organize the people, the architecture of your product is different from the way you organize the people, it's going to generate friction. So the tools and techniques that we deliver in the course, about 50 different practices, we might not talk about all of them, but there's 50 different practices in the pot, are all there to help you figure out how to best scale your product and your teams for your organization. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through NKDAgility.